I am Kimberly Espy, and on behalf of Wayne State University, welcome to Detroit Homecoming. What a pleasure it is for us to host all of our Detroit expats in our beautiful Hillberry Gateway. And thank you so much, Mary. To kick off today's events, let me pick up and amplify what we heard last night, that the creative arts and the creative innovation that we celebrate at Homecoming go hand in hand. Crane's Homecoming is about coming back to Detroit. But for me, actually, it's about a little bit of a different thing. I just got here, actually, in August. And as of last month, Detroit is now my new home. But in that time, what I've learned is what you already know and what the rest of the world is beginning to fully understand. Detroit is a great city. It's a creative, dynamic, vibrant, never say die city that has become a model for the reinvention of great American cities. And you might ask, well, what makes a city great? What makes this city great? Well, of course, it starts with the people. People that we heard from last night, like the Jabaras, like Kem and like Kane. Creative people with a vision and a drive. Creative people with an entrepreneurial spirit that invents and then reinvents. And creative people that are unafraid to do something different. Detroit has always had such creative people with heart and with guts that have helped make Detroit an economic powerhouse, both in the past and in the present. At the same time, they've also made Detroit a center for innovative art and design. I would argue that undergirding our economic and entrepreneurial impulse, and even fueling that impulse, is creativity, for which Detroit is renowned, and is actually reflected in the art scene that you'll see scrolling here. It's deep in our industry, and it's deep in our arts. It's the same creative drive that put the world on wheels, that invented Motown and techno. It's led to Detroit's designation as the first and only UNESCO City of Design. It pushed jazz and urban art to new levels and laid bare the realities of our urban challenges with its poetry and prose. Detroit is known for making cars, but it's also known for making culture. Not just Detroit's culture, but America's culture. Our creativity, though, comes from being at a crossroads of many cultures, races, religions, and diverse people who are looking for new ways to do something different and to carve out a new niche and to make an impact. Detroiters are makers, and that oftentimes, obviously, manifests itself in economic development, which, of course, is important for every successful city. But a great city is defined by art and by music, by design and architecture, by theater and dance that we saw today, and poetry and prose. Our jobs do help us make a good living, but it's the creative arts that actually feeds our souls. Creative arts are a magnet, attracting people who want to live or visit our city with such a distinct culture and personality. They attract people like you who want to invest in the city. And in Detroit and at Wayne State, we make art, and art makes culture, and culture makes a city where people want to be. The arts are not separate from economics, rather they're symbiotic. The arts both make and attract resources. The theater where we sit right now was partly made possible by a multi-million-dollar investment by Gretchen Valade, a member of the Carhart family who simply loved jazz. The Detroit Jazz Festival is one of the world's largest free concerts, and it has an economic impact of tens of millions of dollars. In Michigan, the arts industry has an impact of more than $15 billion, and nationwide, it's $1 trillion. Wayne State has been at the center of Detroit's creative art scene and culture scene. Our city partners are a stone's throw away from here: the DIA, the Detroit Symphony, MoCAD, the Motown Museum, and so many theaters and galleries. On our campus, you'll see creative art and design everywhere. You checked out some in the corridor outside. Our art collection is centered on Detroit's Cass Corridor, home to thousands of pieces that we showcase across the nation. Check out the sculpture along our walkways, part of an actual tour called Art Walk, which this year attracted a record number of folks from near and far to immerse themselves in Detroit's cultural spirit. And our buildings, several designed by Yamasaki, the architecture who designed the World Trade Towers that tragically fell 22 years ago this month. Whether it's graduates like Casey Kasem, Lily Tomlin, Ernie Hudson, Tom Skerritt, or Della Reese, the regularly published poets and authors among our faculty, or noteworthy alumni like Sugarman Rodriguez, we work to define the arts and culture in Detroit. Our students are exposed to creative arts in its many manifestations, but yet we want to take it further with a vision of fusing creative arts into all of our curricula, not just the fine arts, but all of our curricula. Why? Because we know the arts help make our cities more attractive, they help make us be more creative and productive, and they enrich our lives as humans. Wayne State, the university that I'm now so honored to lead, has worked hand in hand with Detroit since 1868. When the city was on the rise, we were here. When Detroit was suffering, we were here. When Detroit was rising up again, we were here. And in fact, okay, raise your hand if you or a member of your family is a Wayne State grad like Kim's mom. Come on, raise your hand. All right, I love it. I look forward to working with each and every one of you to advance Detroit. Not far from where we are now, some Civil War doctors started a medical school because they thought there was a better way to deliver medical care. Their creativity founded this university, and it still inspires us today. In fact, it inspired me to join this outstanding university. From those humble beginnings, Wayne State has become a thriving, top-tier urban research university of 13 schools and colleges with roughly 24,000 innovative warriors, for whom historically the doors to higher education had been closed. In this theater and across campus, diverse students from every background and a small yet mighty faculty continue to nurture, create, and make culture. I am so proud that Wayne State is at the center of Detroit's creativity and at the center of advancing Detroit's economic success, one student, one family, and one small business at a time. As the university historically and inextricably linked with Detroit, Wayne State is so pleased to welcome you to Detroit Homecoming. And as I said, we look forward to collaborating with all of those in our city and contribute together to the vibrancy that makes people want to live, learn, work, and invest here in Detroit. Thank you all so much.